we had a massive, massive job report come out, which did not help interest rates. We got the Fed hiking a quarter, interest rates go down, we're winning, and then boom, massive jobs report. What is going on? This is crazy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, another week of The Brief with your one and only Kenny Simpson. And this week, we have so much to talk about. Let's get right into it. And one of the things, speaking of balloons falling from the sky, well, you know what else is falling? It's inventory. In December, we had over 3,000. January, we had 29 or something, and we're at 2,800. What's going on? There's no inventory. Nobody's listing houses. People are buying houses. I think we're adding 400 new houses, but selling 5. So we just keep ticking down. That's not good. Interest rates this week, let's talk about those. Last week was a great week to lock. So if you locked, you won. This week, they're up a quarter, 3/8, depending on what scenario you got. So it's kind of a bummer. The Feds, as we talked about, hiked a quarter, right? So remember, that's tied to HELOCs, credit cards, lines of credit. If you guys don't know that by now, you should, because the Fed's been beating this in your brain. If you don't know what inflation is, you should. And so what is the Fed focusing on? They're focusing on a couple things. Jobs, number one. Wage growth. Like the wages going up and down, they actually need them to go lower. So the wage growth is like 0.5, needs to go to 0.3. I know it's crazy. You're like, what does all this mean? It means that people are making too much money and they're spending too much money. And the last thing is inflation. But they already know inflation's coming down month over month over month. It is falling rapidly. Remember, they go over a 12-month period. So they're taking the high inflation from 2022 and they're bringing it into the low one. So it is keeping it higher. So as we go further along, that inflation is going to fall. Interest rates, 30-year fix, hopefully will go with it. But what's going to happen with the Fed? They're probably going to hike another quarter, maybe another 50 basis points or quarter, maybe more. I don't know. And they're going to leave it there until something breaks. And what are they going to look to break? Consumer spending, wage growth, jobs report, inflation, the whole thing. They need it to come down. They're not going to pivot and start cutting rates or do anything. And when they do that, when they cut rates, remember this, I said it on video, it means there's some kind of a problem. Good or bad, there's a problem. Consumer spending down, inflation's too low, whatever it is. When they cut, that means they have to cut. That means they need to stimulate the economy. And when they cut, it's going to start pushing money into the economy. Things are going to get moving. So anyways, this week also, what do I want to talk about? The big jobs report. Let's go through it. Do I believe it? Look, you had kind of a weak one in January. You had a strong one here in February. Was it February last week? I can't even keep these in mind. But anyways, just because it's 1 month of a strong job report doesn't mean anything. We might come out next month and the job report's weak. So was it a carryover because the weather and then new hires or seasonal carried over? Who knows? Honestly, I don't really believe we're going to keep getting job growth at 500,000. If we do, I think everybody's going to be shocked. Everybody was shocked at this job report. I think we're supposed to hit 183,000. We got over 500. So it's a weird coincidence. But anyways, moving on from that. What I really want to talk about this week too is what's going on, and we should pay attention. We should be paying attention to what the big boys are doing. Who are the big boys in the room? You might have heard of them, Fannie and Freddie. Well, guess what they're doing, folks? I hate to be political, not trying to insult people, but what they're doing is they're taking from the people. You don't have to be rich to have good credit. They're going to take from the people that have the good credit and the good scenario, and they'll give down here to the people that have bad credit. Yep. So if you're paying attention, who is the buyer that they're believing in? Who is the buyer they want to win? Who is the buyer they believe is going to show up? It's the first-time home buyer. Most first-time home buyers, they might have lower credit scores. They might have less down. They are giving them pricing incentives. Let's just call it that. They're giving a price break. I mean, just 3-4 months ago, they got rid of loan level hits, which are price adjustments. So your interest rate went overnight, dropped like a full point. Boom. So that's helping first-time home buyers again to have tough, bad credit. Maybe you had a late or collections or things like that. You're going to get kind of rewarded. The people up here that have good credit, they're going to take that money that you're paying and they're going to move it down here. Like it or not, it's happening. Do I agree with it? Not really. I think you shouldn't penalize these people because they paid their bills on time. They've tried hard. They worked hard. They saved money. They put money down. I'm not saying these guys haven't, but if you have a 620 credit score, let's be honest, you haven't been paying your bills. Like, you missed a few things, and it is what it is. But why are we penalizing those guys to help you out? That's what they think we should do. They're in control. They lend 97% of the money between FHA, VA, FHA, Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, and USDA, all those. 97% of loans they do. Everything else is done by jumbo, non-QM, and all that. Literally, 97%. Also, this week, I wanted to talk about an interesting statistic. So one of the things I focus on, a lot of data. I'm getting ready, by the way, to put out a really, really great webinar. I'm working on it, a lot of slides, amazing data on a lot of different things. I'm going to go through the whole gamut of why I think, ready, that housing inventory just might not really go up. I'm not saying everywhere in the country, but here in San Diego, we don't build, it's not going to go up. But what I want to leave you guys with is this. I went back and I've been looking at data. Last week I talked about how many homes were built. So from 2000 to 2009, it's about 14.5 million. I might have messed it up last week. And from 2010 to 2019 is about 7 million. So basically 50, 60% less. Crazy, right? That's not helping inventory. But also what I noticed is over the last, since the crash, is there's been another buyer. And you guys know them. There's actually two buyers, but one I specifically want to talk about. I'll mention the other one. The one buyer I want to talk about is the Wall Street buyer. They started showing up, right? They're buying, 4 or 5% of the market. And then, the collapse happens. They start buying. All of a sudden, they realize, whoa, there's a lot of deals. Why don't we start buying single family homes at a rapid pace? So they started buying massive bulks from all these lenders and short sales and foreclosure lenders, these big red tape, like all these, just package them in and buy them and rehab them and rent them. Well, that went on during the boom. And they went from 5 to 10 to 12%. And they started hovering around 15. They kind of dropped back down. But now these guys are going to show up. They've got over 100 billion. They can raise money like that, right? They can pay cash like that. They might be 20% of the market. That's nationally. So where you are, maybe in Arizona and the Nevada and the Texas and Florida and these other places where they really like to buy homes, because San Diego, it might not make as much sense. They might make up 30%. So that is some more of your competition. That's more inventory off the table. I am hearing realtors are fighting back that we're not going to accept your offer from, these Wall Street guys, but they'll go buy from wholesales and flippers and things like that. But I'm just letting you guys know, pay attention, watch what's going on out there, because these buyers are coming in. So a lot of this negative BS news, people are saying, well, these guys are instigating it, so they won't want you to go buy a house and scare you away while they come in and scoop it up. Is that true? Who knows? But I'm going to leave you guys with this thought. There was a story that came out by this guy, Goldman Sachs. He said there's 4 cities are going to have like 2008 like correction crashes. One was San Diego. He said 25% he just wrote it. So he must 25% more it's going to go down. Here's the thing. Agree with him, disagree. I don't really care. But here's the thing. What I don't understand is I'm looking at data. And I study data, I go back, I go forward, I look, where are we going to get the inventory, right? We can go through it. There are people have low rates, they're not building houses, people don't want to move, the pandemic screwed everything up, right? Like the list goes on and on and on. Why? Like we already know that, right? There's the Wall Street buyers, there's a lot of people that bought short-term rentals. Yeah, those went up 50% more went up of purchases since the pandemic. So we're not even cover that. Where is the data that shows we're going to get more inventory? Because when I went back through crashes, what made the crash was supply demand. It's always supply demand. Don't get me wrong. If a COVID hits or a nuclear bomb or something like that happens, yeah, that could shut everything down. But I'm not seeing it. I'm not buying it. So my advice to you is if you hear these bullshit media stories that sell and go viral, because the good stuff doesn't go viral because nobody likes to hear about the smart stuff. They like to hear about this, oh my gosh, it's the doom and gloom. If that goes viral, why don't you do your own research? Why don't you talk to realtors, appraisers, lenders, title escrow, all this, boots on the ground, people that are doing it today. Quit listening to these news outlets that scare you. Because if they're looking at the data, and I got, a buddy from Logan from Housing Wire on debated them, they would lose because what they're telling you is a guess. I think this is going to happen. Are we living in a world we think it's going to happen, or do we live in a world we make decisions, the best decisions we can based off data? That's what we're doing here, folks. So anyways, until next week, enough of me, enough of blabbing. Hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for watching. Please share this and give this to others. I do appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate the feedback when I talk to you guys. So anything you want me to talk about, let me know. But I do appreciate, get a lot of calls and texts, and you guys say you love the brief. It's awesome. I do spend a lot of time to put this together, researching stuff, and try to make these videos entertaining for you. And I know I should probably shorten them. But anyways, until next week, you guys have a great week. See you soon.